There is one spot remaining in the state semifinals out of the Georgetown bracket after Highland Park punched their ticket with an 18-3 victory over Kingwood. Welcome here to Georgetown at Eastview High School for the super regional matchup between the Westlake Chaps and the Southlake Carroll Dragons. I'm Zach Wolchuk alongside my camera operator Silviano Mancato, bringing you THSLL Super Regional Playoff action. And the opposite bracket in Kingwood, Dallas Jesuit knocked off Memorial 8-1, so they will take on the winner of ESD and the reigning state champion Woodlands Highlanders, which will be taking place at the same time as this game here between Southlake and Westlake. The winner of this one will take on Highland Park next Saturday in McKinney at 4 p.m. And this is a rematch of the second game of the season for both squads. It was a game played in Austin at Westlake's Chaps Stadium, a game in which the Chaps won 10-4 over the Southlake Dragon squad. Since then, the Dragons have gone on to a 13-5 regular season. They were 3-2 within their district play, and they play in a district where the previous two teams ahead of them, ESD and Dallas Jesuit, are also in the playoffs and have made the Super Regionals. Jesuit, as we just mentioned, also made it to the state semifinals. We have most of the starters out there meeting at midfield now as they will go ahead and exchange pleasantries, and then we'll get this baby off and running. For Southlake, this is their first trip to the Super Regional since 2014, where they lost to the Woodlands. Last year's team fell shy of this round, falling in the district playoffs to St. Mark's by a final score there last year of 8-5 in 2018. Last season for Westlake, they made it here to the Super Regional and lost a heartbreaker 9-8 to Highland Park. So if they were to advance, that would set up a rematch of that game in the state semifinal next week in McKinney. Your Fogo for Westlake here meeting inside the X will be Sam Wadsworth. He is an all-stater, has a 67% win rate inside the X. As we get things underway, the Fogo for Southlake will be Dalton Daniel, and coming away with it as the Wings fight for it will be Southlake's Luke Leffingwell. So the Dragons will start things off on the offensive end as these two teams are ready to go, and the Super Regional here is cooking. Working it down the alley, Southlake's junior Michael Olale will pass it on in. Jacob Donfris with it now. Back to Olale. And he'll find Dalton Daniel, the senior, who comes on back in as a sub on the fly. Westlake has a lot of size defensively, and they've got an outstanding goaltender in Justin Mays, who's been brilliant all year long. And right there, Mays has no trouble working with the clearance in that stop. Nice job coming over, lowering the body was Brendan O'Rourke to keep things alive on the ground ball for the Dragons, but Westlake comes away with it. They push it up tempo. They've got speed, and they average about 13 goals a game offensively. They can really put it home. So this Dragon defense, as they saw in the first meeting, giving up 10 goals, will have their work cut out for them. Westlake in the white unis, blue numbers, red trim. Southlake in their patented green with the white jerseys and the black trim. And there's a shot comes running in. Hot shot hit the back side of the cage, and pushing it up ahead will be Southlake. Quick dodge inside there for Westlake, but the Dragons doing a good job pushing this one up off the clearance. Holding it there was the All-District junior John Monero. Olale with it now, using that speed to work around. He'll peel back, looks for an outlet. Just keeps it and cradles it in his stick. Gets it over to Jacob Donfris. Back to Daniel. He'll find Olale again, waiting for it at the 20-yard line. Worked at goal line extended. Olale finds it. Passing it around the horn there to Jacob Donfris. Donfris will go goal line extended. Being defended there by Ollie LaVille. They flip it back behind the cage. Harry Blake making a run for it. Long stick keeping him at bay. Back to Olale. Run for it here. Stopping. Again, you can see the size of that Westlake defense with those long poles. They make it tough to get in. There's a nice poke check. Pushing it up ahead and using that speed. Here comes the Chaps. It's the deuce, Ollie Lavelle. He'll pull up. Has a teammate. Spinning and working his way there is the All-State player, Bryce Walker. Walker's the leading scorer on this Westlake team. The big body of Ethan Burke bringing it up. Sends it back behind the cage to the junior Braden Duncan. With it now, the senior Lake De La Fuente. Goal line extended, working with its Lavelle. Gets it back up to De La Fuente. Quickness there, nice move around by De La Fuente. Whips it, and a top cheddar goal. The Chaps strike first. Gets it right over the waiting shoulder of the goalkeeper, Nicholas Wright, for Southlake. And the Chaps take a 1-0 lead with 8:11 to play in the first quarter. Inside the X we go. Sam Wadsworth ends up on the turf, but possession will stay with the Chaps. Wadsworth bringing it up. The pass over there to Braden Duncan. And a timeout taken by Chaps head coach Zach Burke. A fast-paced start to this first quarter with 7:55 to go. De La Fuente's goal has the Chaps up on top in this Super Regional. We'll be back right after this timeout. Both teams break the timeout. 7:55 to play in the first quarter. Chaps leading Southlake 1-0 in this one, and they currently have offensive possession. We welcome you back to the Super Regional THSLL playoff action presented to you by Game On Sports. Zach Wolchuk alongside my camera operator Silviano Mancado bringing you today's action. Winner has a date next Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. against Highland Park, who knocked off Kingwood 18-3 just a few moments ago before these two teams got underway. With it for the Chaps, Ethan Burke. Burke making a run for it, and a shot that just goes wide of the net. Southlake will go ahead and get possession back over to their side. Ben Haikila up ahead. Finds its way to John Monero, and John Monero with a beautiful clearance there. Looks for help. Slipping, poked away, and another turnover forced here by the Chaps. A little give and go. They flip it up on the side. Nice job corralling that. Grounder was John Mark Bogar. Bogar gave it up to Braden Duncan, and Duncan sends it back ahead to Luke De La Fuente. Burke. Defended by John Monero. Mano a mano. Making a run. Monero is going to get called for that one as he just pushes Ethan Burke down to the ground. So we'll have our first man-up advantage. Westlake on the man-up here after the Monero penalty with 6:45 to go and holding a 1-0 lead. Burke working goal line extended. Now gets it back in his cage. Pops it back up to the point. Bryce Walker, always dangerous. And a good job defensively there by Southlake to poke that one loose. Hunting it down, back to De La Fuente. He'll center it. And it finds its way back over to Burke. Now working it off the side. A little stop and go. And a buried home goal on the man-up advantage. It is Bryce Walker, the All-Stater and the leading goal scorer for your Chaps. 2-0, 6-16, Austin Westlake. They take advantage of the penalty from Monero and get the man-up goal, quick ball movement. And they found its way to Bryce Walker, who made a nifty move, ducking underneath and creating a nice little bit of shooting room and burying home the goal. Back to the X we go. And a clean win. Andrew Pape winning that one for Westlake. They get it back behind the cage to Cam Lynch. Now they'll work it back around to Burke. Burke with a run and a goal. Oh, no, it hit the side of the cage. I think Burke thought it also went in, but it did not. It hit the side of the cage, did not go in. Possession back over to Southlake. Under 6 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. They get it back to the goal keep. Nicholas Wright. Wright gets it down the alley to Luke Leffingwell. Leffingwell has some room off that right side. He'll go ahead and trot it back behind the net. Now he'll circle around. Finds a teammate. It's Brendan O'Rourke. Olale. Olaye with it. And he'll send it back up top to Jacob Donfris. Slow working Southlake attack. Showing a lot of patience here, really spreading out this Westlake defense. The Chaps are staying inside. Trying to make a run here. Harry Blake. Blake back behind the cage. Donfris makes a run. Double team here, and he's cut off immediately by Deuce Smoot, the all-district defender. And Miles Siegel will go ahead and carry this one up, and the clearance is made. Beautiful job by the Chaps. Up ahead to Christian Fournier. And bang, what a sliding save. Just robbing a goal away was Nicholas Wright, the junior. It looked like a backdoor wide open shot for the Chaps, but Wright closes the door. Now back the other side. Southlake trying to capitalize quickly, and this shot sails high by John Mark Bogar. Bringing it back in, Harry Blake. Blake working in ISO, trying to use that speed and quickness, working goal line extended. Darts his way. Now he flips, tries to get to Elie. He does. Nice job there to corral that hot pass. 3:40 and counting here in the opening frame. 2-0 Austin Westlake up on Southlake. Back behind the cage. This one's loose. And a quick hack there. Tries to keep this one alive for Southlake, but eventually the long pole of Miles Siegel comes away with again. Siegel, a 3-time All-Stater. One of the best in the business in Texas high school lacrosse. Nice job again bringing it up ahead in a hurry Gets it over to Duncan. Duncan, who thought he had a goal moments ago before Wright just robbed him during 3 minutes left. Westlake's clearance game has been on point here in the first quarter. Burke guarded by Marone. That matchup drew the man-up advantage that Westlake took advantage of. De La Fuente sends it back behind the cage. Nice shake and bake move and a big-time stop again. Ollie Lavelle thought he had him squared line, dead to right, but George Wright again with a big-time stop. Here comes down the field Southlake and a wind-up shot by the long pole. Mitchell Grunewald, another All-Stater for the Dragons, and a big stop by both keeps here end-to-end. Standing on their head in the cage. 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Westlake up 2-0.
Are you announcing? You're not going to announce this like it's a home game, right?
Shot by number 11. Lake De La Fuente.
Is he next door?
And bringing it up.
Is he announcing next door?
Cam Lynch. Braden Duncan bringing it up ahead. And here's a run in. Bryce Walker. And a shot that goes low and another big save from Wright. George Wright has been really, really good here in this first quarter. As Ollie Lavelle, again, a brilliant shot. 2-0. Oh, and there comes Southlake. Bang! 42, John Monero. The all-district player makes it right from the penalty earlier and comes right down the field in a gorgeous goal to make it 2-1 and put the Dragons on top. Or cut this lead for the first Dragon lead goal of the game. 1:02 to go in the first quarter. And Westlake now up 2-1. Inside the X we go. Oh, initially there, Luke Leffingwell thought he had that one. Westlake comes away with another win. And a nice job to keep that alive, Braden Duncan. But here comes Southlake, and they might have numbers. Clearance up ahead, Leffingwell. Centering feed, a wind-up shot. That one clinked right off the post. Oh, John Mark Bogar. A brilliant look there, and it just hit front iron. Right off the crossbar, 38 seconds and counting. Ethan Frischhertz. I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. With the run here, nice job defensively from Westlake. Working at goal line, extending. That one's poked away. Scooping it back up is Blake. The centering feed and a gorgeous look and a big-time save. Again, John Mark Bogart just stonewalled. Justin Mays, both keeps are playing out of their mind here in the opening frame. And that's how the first quarter will end. 2-1 in a brilliant 12 minutes of lacrosse. Westlake takes the advantage into the second quarter. We'll be right back. You're watching THSLL Super Regional Lacrosse presented by Game On Sports. Yeah. Ditto? Oh, I'm not the one saying on the loudspeaker on the PA. It's the one next door. Yeah. I'm just calling. We're streaming. Yeah, we're streaming. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. back for the second quarter of action here from Georgetown. And a rip there from Grant Deno. I apologize. I was calling 6 for Southlake Deno, looking at Westlake's roster. So not credit there given to Deno. Correction. So he's had a couple of great looks inside. The Chaps goaltending from Justin Mays, making it very difficult, but a great first quarter of action. It's both teams very evenly matched in this one. Here's a run inside. Splitting the entire Southlake defense, and again, George Wright making a stop. My, oh my, has he been brilliant. What a run from Lake De La Fuente. Trying to get his second of the afternoon, and George Wright with the big stop. Here comes Deno. Over to John Monero. Now Monero come off. Working it around the side to Dalton Daniel. Daniel making a run here to the center and tries to get a pass over to Brendan O'Rourke that just went out of bounds. And a turnover to the Chaps. 10-15 and counting. Clearance up ahead for Westlake is Christian Fournier. Back behind the net. Bryce Walker gives it back over to Cam Lynch. And Westlake will slow things down here as we're under 10 minutes to play in the first half. Lynch with a spin. Spins back the other way. Has some room and a shot that gets right past right. Excellent job in ISO from Cam Lynch there. And that will extend the Westlake lead back to 2, 3-1. They lead Southlake here in the Super Regional. Back to the face-off X we go. The Fogo Andrew Pape. I appreciate the pronunciations. All the help I can get here. Andrew Pape will be on here for the face-off X. And a big win. Quickly pushing the tempo up ahead for Westlake. Still alive. Quick run there from Braden Duncan. Gets it off. Slowing it down off the edge was Walker. Back behind the net. And Lynch comes in. Back-to-back goals. Quick ball movement there. Bryce Walker gets the assist. Cam Lynch with the finish. He's got 2 in a hurry. And it's 4-1 Westlake up on the Dragons. $9:19 to play in this first half. And Grunwald in there for this faceoff for Southlake against Pape. And a quick win. And that was Sam Wadsworth, the Fogo for Westlake. And he'll spin it back up top. A wide pass, but Bryce Walker able to handle it. Walker taking it up the middle. This one's poked away, forcing the turnover for the Dragons. Coming up ahead, John Monero. Nice move inside on the clearance. Monero gets it up ahead to set up the attack for Southlake. They give it off. Deno gets bounced backwards. Now he'll pop it back up top to the point, and they'll reset. Jared Randall gives it off to Michael Olale. Over to Monero. Olale to Donfris. Southlake looking to break the 3-goal streak here for Westlake. It's given them their largest lead so far of the afternoon. Backing it up and just slowing things down. Here's the Dragons waiting for an opening. Donfris. Over to Olale. This one's poked away from Westlake. And the turnover. Excellent job defensively from Jones-Liddy. The keep up ahead on the clearance. Good job by the Dragons making it tough, but the execution there for Westlake, the long pole, up ahead to Walker. Back behind the net to Duncan. And he'll get it back over to Bryce Walker. Walker with 1 goal tonight. 7:20 and counting here in the first half. 4-1 Westlake up on the Dragons. The speedy Lake de la Fuente. Wide of the net. And turnover back over to Southlake. Ben bringing it in. The senior. 7 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Looking for help. Gets it back to the goalkeeper, Nicholas Wright. Wright directing some traffic. And they get it up ahead. John Monero with it. Being chased from behind. Monero stops. Now he'll flip it on back over up top, and a timeout for Southlake with 4-1 to play. 6:35 to play. 4-1 is your score. Austin Westlake up on the Southlake Dragons. All right, 6:35 to play here in the first half. 4-1 the score. Westlake up on the Southlake Dragons as the Dragons will have possession coming out of their timeout. The other two teams to advance from the Super Regional, Jesuit, who knocked off Memorial 8-1, that game being played in Kingwood, and Highland Park, who defeated Kingwood 18-3 right before these two teams took the field. Winner of this one will take on the Scots next Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock in McKinney. Here comes Southlake. Jacob Donfris working with it behind the cage. Gets it back up to Alale. Daniel. Back to Alale. Here comes Daniel making a run. Passes it back off. Gets it back. Here's a run from behind the cage. Defended very well from Siegel. Working at goal line extended and hitting the turf. There's about 3 Westlake defenders there that knocked that one loose up ahead on the clearance. Here come the Chaps. A wind-up shot goes low and stopped initially. Rebound try out in front, and the Dragons scoop up that grounder. Poked away. Christian Fournier. And emphatically, possession goes back over to Southlake. Rapid pace of play here with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Up to Alale. And a hip-level shot just goes wide of the cage. 4:41 to go. Running it in. And the long stick there, again, of Miles Siegel causing a problem. The 3-time All-Stater. Loose behind the cage, being berated. Now a looping clearance up ahead for the Chaps. Whistles blow, and possession will come back over to the Dragons. 4:25 to go. Southlake making a little bit of a push here offensively. Jacob Donfris. Around the horn. Back over to Alale. Up top, Daniel. Quick passing. Trying to make it himself, Brandon O'Rourke. And this one going wide, rolling out of bounds. Possession back over to the Chaps. Back behind the net. Pushing it up ahead is Mays. And this one poke checked right away. Dragons force the turnover. Back the other side is Deno. Centering feed and a goal. Big time play. Harry Blake, the all-district attacker, with the assist from Grant Deno. A beautiful play off the turnover, and the Dragons cut the lead in half again. 4-2, Westlake with the lead. 3:27 to play in the first half. Big time play there for the Dragons. Luke Leffingwell, the Fogo, going up against Sam Wadsworth. The two battle. Leffingwell pulls first. Wadsworth keeping this one alive, just kicking it up ahead. And that was Andrew Pape taking that face-off inside the X as they rotate. Good win by Pape, and a timeout here for Westlake. 3:16 to play in the first half, 4-2. Westlake with the edge. A beautiful afternoon here from Eastview High School, the home of the Patriots in Georgetown. 82 degrees here for this one. Not any chance of rain. Beautiful blue skies here on a Sunday afternoon of Super Regional THSLL action. Westlake coming on out of this timeout. Both teams have really picked up the physicality here in the pace of play late in this second quarter. George Wright has been absolutely outstanding in net for Southlake. Westlake's had a lot of really close opportunities. Ethan Burt brings it on in for Westlake. Burke flipping it away. Here's the speed of Ollie and a shot there that just goes wide. And Wright goes ahead and gets that one back into his cage as Southlake will work the clearance. Here come the Dragons, and trying to find an outlet there. Coming on over to secure that grounder is Michael Olale. Bouncing ball again, fielded. Jacob Donfris has it. Under 2.5 to go. Both teams defensively playing really well here late. Donfris. Getting it back over to John Monero. Monero working it down the alley. Here he comes, a little spin there. Slows it down, passes it back up top. Donfries with it, little shoulder shake. Off to the left side, goal line extended. Spinning his way inside Monero. Now he'll run it back to the cage, works around a screen, gets it up to Deno. Deno tries to find a cutter inside, doesn't have an outlet. Spin there from Donfris, back over to Deno, and skips right off the carpet. And a battle for this one. Whistles fly, possession stays with the Dragons. John Monero will have it for Southlake. 1:20 to go in the first half. Dragons down 2. Over to Monero. Monero passed it back in there to Donfris. Makes a run, goal line extended. And we got a broken stick. And this one's loose out in front. Initially thought to be had by Southlake in a run. We're going to have a penalty here. So this will be a man-up advantage for the Dragons. A big turn of events. Initially, it looked like Justin Mace was going to scoop up this grounder. He lost it. It went behind the net. And a good goal-scoring opportunity there for Southlake. They get hit from behind, and it'll be a man-up advantage for the Dragons. 54 seconds to play here in the opening half. Penalty will be called on Deuce Smoot, the all-district defenseman, as he'll have to take the knee over there near midfield. So a great opportunity here for the Dragons. Westlake fans making a lot of noise here from Georgetown. Up top to Deno. Get it back to Monero. Or to Olale. Shot fake from Jacob Donfris. Gets it back into the middle, trying to go to Olale. Donfris chases it down, and then he flipped it quickly to Harry Blake, who does have one of the 2 Southlake goals. Blake had another chance there. The clearance up ahead for the Chaps, poked away, And it'll go right to Tucker Hamlin. Hamlin gets hit. This one's loose again. Battle for it. And it's knocked out of bounds. Possession will go over to the Dragons. 11 seconds left. And we're at even strength. Long shot that goes sailing over the net. 4 seconds to go in the opening half. 4-2. And there's a shot, but this one's going to be waved off. And that will be the half, unless there was a timeout taken. There's still 1 second left on the clock. So 4-2 is your score. Westlake leading Southlake in what is a very evenly matched super regional here. A date on the line to play HP next Saturday at 4 o'clock from McKinney. They've put 4 seconds on the clock. So the Dragons will have one final opportunity to cut this lead down to 1 before the first half officially expires. Both teams have used all their timeouts here in the half, as head coach Zach Burke will talk things over and draw something up here to get one last shot opportunity to cut this lead down to 1. So here we go. 4 seconds left here in the second quarter. Southlake will have one shot left. Grant Deno. Passes it on in, back of the cage. Quick centering feed. They had an opportunity to get it over to Olale, but that will do it for the first half of play. 4-2 is your halftime score. Westlake on top of Southlake. We'll be back with the second half of action presented to you by Game On Sports. 24 minutes left in this super regional round of lacrosse. 4-2. The score between Westlake and Southlake. An absolutely brilliant job of goaltending from Nick Wright in that first half for the Dragons. As Westlake had plenty of opportunities, Nick Wright was brilliant, and Southlake started to push the tempo there towards the end of that second quarter, getting some nice offensive looks themselves. Really good crowd on hand from both squads, the Dragons and Chaparral fans making their way here to Georgetown to cheer on their boys in this one. Westlake has it offensively. Working behind the cage is Braden Duncan, who gets it now, makes a run, working goal line extended. Nice job defensively there for the Dragons to keep him out. And a throwaway trying to be chased down from Lake de la Fuente, who had the opening goal for Westlake in this one. Turnover back the other way. Here come the Dragons. And a nice clear quickly. Finding the stick of Luke Leffingwell. Gets it back to Monero. John Monero also has one of the two Southlake goals. And they'll go ahead and reset right back around the 40-yard line with the junior attacker, Jacob Donfris. He gets it quickly over to Monero, being defended by John Mark Bogar. Back behind the cage, Southlake very spread out offensively. 3-2-1 set. Back up top, they get it to Brendan O'Rourke. Now quickly over to the junior Michael Olale. And a loose grounding ball as the Chaparral defense so big. Again, we've talked about that size. Just really not allowing anything inside in front of the crease. Nearing the 10-minute mark here in the third quarter. Southlake with a lengthy offensive possession here. Back behind the cage to Donfris. Being defended, Southlake fans wanted a hook call there. Maintaining offensive possession, working it around. Olale looked over at Deno, kept it himself, little shoulder fake, and that one bounces off of the carpet, might have hit off the side post and out of bounds. Nice shot there, 9:48 to go in the third quarter. Dragons are certainly building momentum, just keeping Westlake on their heels here. Working it behind the cage. Over to John Monero. Again, thank you very much for those watching on some pronunciation help. Big time apologies if we pronounced anyone's names wrong. And we certainly want to correct that. Working it behind the cage. Dalton Daniel back up top. And a little bit of frustration shown by Brendan O'Rourke there as that one just came out a little wonky. Trying to make a pass, but chasing it down. Good hustle from John Monero again, the all-district player. He sure is having a heck of a game for the Dragons. Under 9 to go here in the third quarter. Directing traffic now is John Monero, using that speed. Covering a lot of ground, gets it back, goal line extended. Working his way inside on a jump shot that might have gotten a piece of Justin Mays' stick up in front. Again, it's just very, very tough to get inside here for the Southlake attack. 8.5 to go. Sliding down behind the net, and a turnover back the other way for Westlake. About 3 minutes working in that offensive zone. Oh, now they changed calls. It's going to stay with the Dragons. Southlake fan base loving that. Deno will take it from the 18-yard line. Donfris, quick pass, little fake shot there. And the big stick of Miles Siegel poking that one loose. Up ahead on the clear. Nice job. There are 2 flags that have flown here. And now we get whistles. And we'll await the call. Both flags right around the midfield mark. And all three officials are going to go ahead and meet to discuss this one. 8 minutes and 4 seconds remain in the third quarter. Westlake leading Southlake 4-2. The way they blew that one dead, it would appear the penalty could be coming against Westlake. But we'll wait for clarification. Again, your goal scorers here for the Dragons, John Monero and Harry Blake. And the 4 goals for the Chaps, Lake De La Fuente, Bryce Walker, their leading scorer, has 1, and then a pair from Cam Lynch that came in a flurry back-to-back in that second quarter. We do have one Westlake player taking a knee on the side, so it'll definitely be at minimum a man up for the Dragons. Southlake has dominated pace of play thus far in the second half. See if they decide to add any more clock. That could be something they're discussing as well. Looks like the senior demon, John Mark Bogar, is the player on a knee in the box for Westlake. So we'll get the man-up advantage for the Dragons. Southlake, again, looking to advance to past their first super regional in quite some time. They haven't made it to this round since 2014 when they lost 8-5 to the Woodlands. And they've got a team on the cusp, prime and ready to do it. It is the second meeting between these two squads. Westlake got the first game 10-4, but that was way back on February 16th at Chap Stadium. These two teams much more seasoned. They've grown a lot over the course of the play this year. Chap 16-1 in the regular season, undefeated in district play. They've been absolutely outstanding on the defensive side of things. You can see it here today. They hardly allow 5 goals a game, if that, and offensively they come in averaging 13. And the Dragons defensively, you can tell, spearheaded by the goalkeeper Nick Wright, also an excellent defensive unit. But both teams have firepower. So we do now have a Southlake Dragon taking a knee as well. That's going to be Harry Blake. So 2 players called for penalties. So each team will play a man down. Should open up some field. And bringing it on in for Westlake. And a quick whistle. As we have a timeout that, again, it seems like it's come from the officiating crew, as Lake De La Fuente brought things in. And we might have another I don't believe we do. It looked as though 42 in green John Monero was going to go over there and take a knee next to Harry Blake, but I don't believe that is the case. And either way, we'll just go ahead and start back up, and Westlake will have possession. Back behind the cage is Braden Duncan. Duncan using that speed, stop and go, slides, gets back up, makes a run towards the cage, and he scores. Big goal for Braden Duncan, his first of the afternoon. And the All-Stater has put the Westlake lead up to 3 as they're on top 5-2 with 7:41 to play in the third. And the Chaparral fans are loving it. Back to the X we go. The Fogo for Westlake will be Andrew Pape, taking on a Luke Leffingwell. Both John Mark Bogar and Harry Blake still are on a knee. And a quick win there. Here comes Pape. Pape making a nice run towards the net, darting, wasting no time. Big save there from Nick Wright. Pushes that one aside. Possession staying with Westlake. Lynch, who's got a pair, passes it on over to Bryce Walker. Walker back behind the cage. He's dangerous from all over the field. Making a run now, looking for a centering feed. Nobody's there. Whips around a quick shot. Nick Wright might have gotten a piece of that one, and he pushes it wide. Working around a screen there behind the cage, and a wicked shot there. Trying to loop it over the shoulder was Braden Duncan, and that one just sails right over the cage. Penalties are over. 7:03 to go. 5-2 your score. Westlake on top of Southlake in the Super Regional from Georgetown. Making a run in on target and a goal. Take a bow. What a shot from Bryce Walker. The leading scorer with his second. 6-2 the score now as the Chaps have their largest lead of the afternoon at 4. Nick Wright has been absolutely outstanding, but that was an extremely tough shot for him to be able to save there, coming right at the cage from Bryce Walker. Pape will take this face-off again for Westlake versus Leffingwell. Ben Kehoe and Mitchell Grunwald are your wings for Southlake. Coming on over, Tucker Hamlin. There's a nice win up to Pape. Pape tries to get it over to Lynch, working off that right goal line extended, and it sails out of bounds. And Southlake will now have the opportunity to push it on back offensively. Dragons in big need of a goal here. Trying to work the clear up ahead. Directing traffic is the long pole, working it up down the alley. And they get it up to Monero. Nice job by Ben Kehoe on that clear. Monero with a nice spin, darting his way towards the cage, and that one gets poked out. And we have a whistle. It might be a timeout, perfectly called timeout there by head coach Zach Burke to avoid a potential turnover. 6-2, your score. Westlake up on Southlake with 6:17. We'll step aside momentarily. You're watching the THSLL Super Regional presented by Game On Sports. We Will Rock You brings you back from that Southlake timeout with 6:17 to go in the third quarter. 6-2, Westlake on top of the Dragons, but Southlake an opportunity here with possession as Jacob Donfris starts play back up. Here from Eastview High School in Georgetown. Olele, flips it back behind the net. Here comes Donfris with the run. Nice switch there. A Westlake defender loses his stick. Back up top to Olele. And he gets slowed down. As soon as he tries to make a run inside, both top defenders pinch. And there's a shot that, unable to get it through the trees there, gets blocked out in front. Good job defensively from Tucker Hamlin. Southlake gets it back in. O'Rourke working with it off that right side. Hamlin defending. A spin move. Back to Olele. Far side finds Dalton Daniel. Daniel defended by Brooks Jeffers. And he'll flip it back. And Blake loses it for a moment. Scooped back up by Westlake. Blake does a nice job hustling back in the poke check. This one's going to roll out of play. Who is the closest to it? And they're going to flip it back over to Westlake. 5:06 to go in the third quarter. Westlake forcing another turnover. Now they'll go ahead and work the clear. They get it to their keep, Justin Mays. Mays flips it over to the alley. He's got support from Deuce Smoot. And Smoot a nice clear. Gets it across to Duncan. Duncan all the way around the net. No, now Duncan has it. That was Walker who had it before he flipped it back behind the cage to Duncan. Now working with it is Lake. De La Fuente. De La Fuente. Defended nicely there. Frederick Elmquist for the Dragons. Now working goal line extended. Back behind the cage. Duncan. Quick pass up on top. Ollie. Back up top to De La Fuente. And a shot. And Westlake thought they might have had a goal. They do now. Bryce Walker from behind the cage. The shot up top caused a little bit of confusion momentarily, and Bryce Walker capitalizing off of it. A quick run to put Westlake up 7-2. And Bryce Walker has a hat trick. He was the leading scorer for Westlake coming in for a reason, and the All-Staters got 3 here this afternoon. 4:06 to go in the third quarter. Pape again to take this face-off versus Leffingwell. Pape pushing it up ahead. This one's still loose. Trying to scoop it on up successfully there. Nice job by Kehoe. Kehoe loses it, comes back to the Chaps. Run in front of the cage goal line. An extended shot just sails high for Braden Duncan. The junior's been all over the field. Walker will bring it in. Back to Duncan. Defended by Ben. Heiklia. Behind the net. Nice job cutting that one off and poking it loose. Brilliant job by Heiklia. Now up ahead. Luke Leffingwell. And a good job on the clear. Here come the Dragons. Little shoulder fake, driving it in. Nice pass, ducking underneath and falling to the ground. Attempting that shot was Brendan O'Rourke. 3:20 to go. Quick clearance up ahead. Now scooped, and Southlake will clear. Good job vacuuming that one on up. Mitchell Grunwald. Now up top, back to O'Rourke. O'Rourke flips it quickly. Monero, and that shot sails high, and it'll stay over. Harry Blake will chase it down for the Dragons. 3 minutes to go here in this third quarter. Olale. Westlake fans making a lot of noise. Back over to Leffingwell. Excuse me, that's Monero. Monero with it. Spin move there. Doing a nice job in ISO. And there's a turnaround shot that just sails wide. Bringing it in is Blake, working it around a screen. Blake a shot and a sliding split save there from Justin Mays. What a stop. Nice clear for Westlake to Jones Liddy. Liddy down to his knees, making that snag was Duncan. And Duncan will just pop it high into the waiting stick of Ethan Burke. Over to Jack Maru. Apologize if I'm saying that one wrong, Chap fans. There's a spin working inside. Sliding there. Nice job defensively for the Dragons. That's Jared Randall, and this one's loose. Randall trying to chase it. Can he go ahead and scoop this one up? So close. This one will trickle out of bounds. But Randall secures possession for the Dragons, and they'll bring it back and start it from where it went out of play. Good hustle play there for 19 in green. Here comes Brendan O'Rourke, and this one's taken away immediately by Miles Siegel, the three-time All-Stater. And he gets rid of it to Braden Duncan, retreats. His job is done. Pass up top. Burke. Now Lynch will work with it. Gets the feed from Tanner Robshaw. Now calling forwards De La Fuente. De La Fuente working that left side. A lot of movement up top. And De La Fuente a shot, and that one's blocked. Big time block there for the Dragons. It was Ben Kehoe. Kehoe with the clear, and he's got a lot of room to work with in front of him. The long pole of Kehoe. Peels it back. A wind-up shot. That one hits the carpet and bounces wide. McQuire Newell on the shot there. Dragons keep possession. 22 seconds left in this third quarter. Olale trying to make a run. Siegel defending. And a bouncing pass trying to be fielded there by Donfris will go back over. And Westlake secures possession. They'll have a chance with 10 seconds to get the final shot of the quarter. Up ahead is Duncan. Duncan working goal line extended. That one's poke checked away. On the carpet, and Southlake's got it. And they'll just flip it up ahead as the third quarter will expire. 7-2 your score. Westlake on top of Southlake. We've got 12 minutes left. One of these teams is advancing to play Highland Park next week, Saturday at 4 o'clock in McKinney. Stay tuned. THSLL Super Regional Lacrosse presented by Game On Sports will be back in a moment. Fourth quarter of action about to be underway between Westlake and Southlake. Westlake up 7-2 in this one. They've held the Dragons scoreless thus far in the second half. Back to the face-off X we go. Leffingwell, the Fogo for the Dragons. And a contested battle there. Pape trying to come away with it for Westlake. This one's still loose. And a nice job from Mitchell Grunwald to secure possession there for the Dragons. Now trying to split a couple defenders was Ben Kehoe. That one was loose, but chasing it back down was Luke Leffingwell. The Dragons trying to clear up ahead. Westlake doing everything they can to keep him up across, but a good job there. Physical play from John Monero. John Monero has had a great game for the Dragons. Here he comes splitting two. Gets it over to Deno. Deno working in ISO, trying to loop around the long stick, and a high shot just sails right over the crossbar. 11:15 to play. Dragons having to make up some ground. And we've got a flag down right around the 45-yard line. Possible man-up situation here for Southlake. And this is a big one because the man taking the knee will be Bryce Walker, who's got 3 goals and is the leading scorer. Here comes Monero. Olale. Southlake trying to pick up tempo. Up top to Deno. Wanted to look to Monero. Now he stops back to Blake. Blake to Olale. Looking for it. Back to Blake. Now the reset up top. Deno, nice feed in front and a goal. Beautiful pass from Deno and a crystal clear finish from Brendan O'Rourke. Nice job working on the man-up advantage there for Southlake. They needed that one. They made it happen. It is 7-3 now. Westlake leading with 10:45 to go in this one. Beautiful job of passing and a sensational feed there. Deno to O'Rourke. Pape versus Leffingwell again. We got a battle at 28 at the wings. Down below with Christian Fournier and Mitchell Grunwald. This one's still loose, kicked up ahead. And a nice job on that clear. Christian Fournier with it. Gets it off to Deno. And this one's stolen back from Westlake. Ethan Frischhertz up ahead. And Frischhertz has a lot of green. Gets it over to Walker. Walker stops, then hits the deck. Quick to his feet again, and he'll peel it on over to the long stick of Frischhertz. Gets it over the deuce, Ollie level. And a wind-up shot by Burke, and he clicks the post. In front to Walker, and he puts home the rebound. What a play. The far right post for Ethan Burke, and in front, Johnny on the spot. Bryce Walker with his 4th of the game. Puts home the trash in front of the net. And it is with 10:05 to go. 8-3 Westlake leading the Dragons. Pape and Leffingwell. Those two have been battling all afternoon long inside the X. And here they go again. And Pape does a nice job of securing that one quickly. And that was Wadsworth who actually checked back in. That was a Wadsworth face-off win. Here comes Westlake. Lynch working with it. Over to Braden Duncan. Duncan back behind the net to Walker. Back to Duncan. Over to Lynch. Lynch also has a pair of goals for Westlake. And Burke, who just hit post moments ago, will secure it back. Nice move by Burke. Trying to get around some pesky defense there from John Monero. And this one up ahead. A collision there in front. And we've got a couple of guys jawing at each other. But Lynch will secure possession. Now he out whistles. And I think this one's going to go back over to Southlake. And it will. Here comes Monero. Pops it back over to Leffingwell. Olale checking back in as a sub on the fly. And he's got it. So the Dragons will reset their offense under 9 minutes to play. Monero with the run. Defended by De La Fuente. Monero has that one blocked. And it's loose. Siegel, the long stick again. And up top to push the tempo will be De La Fuente. And he's going to wind up, fake the shot. Now cut inside, dodging in front of the net. That one's poked away. Big time poke check there to force a turnover. Staying with it the whole way was Frederick Elmquist. 8.5 to play in this one. Up ahead on the clearance is Olale. Trying to split two. And he gets hit from the side by Braden Duncan. Falls down, gets right back up. Little skip pass over there to Jacob Donfris. Defended from Jeffers. He'll trot over. Goal line extended. Now switch rotating in front. Harry Blake, 66 and green in front of the net. Now Blake will break free, but the Dragons will pop it back up top. It'll be Brendan O'Rourke, the most recent goal scorer. The wind-up shot, and that one will hit the turf and pop on wide of the net. Blake behind the net taking this one. Blake making a run, showing some quickness there, working around the cage, and he whips around and fires that shot just wide. 7:46 and counting. 8-3 your score. Westlake leading. Siegel defending for the Chaps. Bring it on in Jacob Donfris. Nice move there. Centering feed to Deno. This one's loose on the ground. Ground ball here. Deno has it. Being defended by Frischhertz. In front of the cage, working with it, trying to find a cutter. Denner, he founds one, and oh boy, just out of the net of Dalton Daniel. Good look there from Deno. $7:15 remaining in the fourth. The clearer up ahead. Working with it now, Tanner Robshaw. Robshaw. This one's loose. Chaps pick it up, and a quick shot there from Duncan. Sails over the head. Bryce Walker will go ahead and chase this one down, so Westlake secures possession. 7 minutes to play. Walker bringing this one in, working goal line, extended right in front of the cage, and a stop from Nick Wright. Wright will work this clear. He's got pressure coming from Duncan. Quick up ahead. Nice outlet there to Ben Heike. And Heikla will push it up ahead. Back to Deno. This one's taken away from Westlake. Siegel trying to use that long body and long pole, and Westlake does secure it. It's Jones-Liddy. Liddy up ahead on the clear. Has over to Duncan. Duncan faked the pass to Lynch, who's working behind the cage, and he'll hold it himself. Now a reverse field pass over to Ollie Level. Goal line extended to Lynch. Back to Level. They find Spencer Clarkson. Clarkson being defended by Jared Randall of Southlake. 6 minutes to go. Westlake with a 5-goal advantage. And they're working with it here. The All-Stater, Braden Duncan, defended. Now working inside, and he hit the post. Oh, we've seen that a few times here for Westlake. Burke chases this one down out of bounds. Possession will stay with the Chaps. Walker gets it out of his stick. Back over to Duncan. Defended by Kehoe. Kehoe doing a good job utilizing the sideline here. Duncan spins, trying to get his way around. Here's a run. Nice pass to Lynch in front. He puts it low and oh, what a save. Nick Wright. Oh, boy. He has been outstanding today. Nick Wright, 5:11 to go here in this one, just closing another goal-scoring opportunity for Westlake. This clearance up ahead. Who's going to win the battle of possession here? And scooping it on up is Westlake. That is Ethan Frischhertz. He works the clear, passes it back on over to Spencer Clarkson, and an opportunity to milk some more clock here for Westlake. Clarkson defended by Randall. Down the alley as we get some shade now on the field. And a whistle will blow play dead with 4:35 to play. Burke will be coming over and will get the ball in his net to bring it on in for Westlake. Defended by John Monero. Burke making a run towards the left side. Loses his footing for a moment, but able to keep his balance. Over to Ollie Level. Level defended by two Southlake Dragons. They work it back around to Walker behind the cage. Nice job by Randall. Walker going ahead and motioning players where he wants them to go. It's like Westlake going back to a 2-2-2 set on offense, but Walker now making a run. Centering feed to Lynch, and Lynch buries it. Big time goal for Lynch as he's got three. There's a hat trick for Cam Lynch. The assist from the All-Stater, Bryce Walker. And with 3:49 to go, Westlake with their largest lead of the afternoon at 9-3. Not much Nick Wright could do about that one. And he has been brilliant this afternoon in front of the cage for Southlake. These two teams will face it off. And it's Wadsworth again fighting for that one with Leffingwell. Coming out with it initially seemed like Southlake had possession. Instead of go back over, Christian Fournier bringing it up. And that shot goes wide. Chasing it on down is Braden Duncan. A hustle play. Duncan will bring it back. And it will end up being Southlake. Oh, no, a timeout there. A timeout here for Westlake. Head coach Bruce Frady wants to talk it over. 3:28 away from a berth next Saturday afternoon in the Final Four against Highland Park. If they can hold on to this 6-goal lead. We'll step aside for a moment. You're watching the THSLL Super Regionals presented by Game On Sports. Westlake 3 minutes and 28 seconds away from state championship weekend. As Braden Duncan has possession, bringing this one out of the timeout. 9-3, the Chaps lead the Dragons. And an empty net in front as the keeper was out of it, and there's a goal, and it is number 5 for Bryce Walker, the leading goal scorer coming in, and the All-State representative has put on a show here in this one. And he has given Westlake their 10th goal to put them in double figures, and this one 10-3. Keep in mind the first meeting between these two in mid-February was a 10-4 Westlake victory at Chap Stadium. 3:12 to go. To the X with Andrew Pape taking on Leffingwell. What a performance, especially so far by the Westlake defense. They've been outstanding. They came in allowing less than 5 goals a game, and right now they're holding right to that average, having giving up 3. Another face-off win there for Westlake. They've really dominated, especially this half inside the X. Back behind the cage is Duncan. And trotting on in, looks like that's Danny Salazar. No, excuse me, it is 25, Spencer Arnold, not 26. Working it on the side, Duncan. Defended by Leffingwell. 2.5 to play. Duncan working a, wow, what a play. And the foul to boot. Braden Duncan crashing right in front of the crease, and he puts that one home as he got tackled essentially by 2 Southlake defenders. The 11th goal, Braden Duncan's second for Westlake, and it is 11-3, and that pretty much should be the dagger. .222 to play in this one. 11-3 Westlake on top. What a performance. 5 goals by Bryce Walker, 2 from Braden Duncan, 3 from Cam Lynch, and 1 from Lake De La Fuente. Those are your goal scorers for Westlake. Leffingwell does a nice job winning that one, and he'll quickly get it up ahead to Deno. Deno working man-to-man. And he is stiffed there trying to find an outlet. Good job maintaining possession there. Finally has a helper. It's Parker Ruiz. Spinning and turning, contorting is Brendan O'Rourke. And a shot, and it finds the net of Justin Mays. And another clear up ahead. O'Rourke, who has had a great game for the Dragons as well. He's got 1 of their 3 goals. Not able to get it past Mays. Here comes Walker. Flips it back behind the cage. That's Wes Mizell. Arnold. To Spencer Clarkson. Clarkson, a nice run here. And that shot grounder just goes wide. 1:21 to play, and we've got a flag. This one's going to come against Southlake. So a man-up advantage for Westlake. 1:21 away from a date next Saturday against Highland Park. The Scots, who ended Westlake's season last year in the Super Regionals, in this very round, 9-8. A chance at revenge. Burke with it for the Chaps, sets it back up top to Walker. Duncan takes it from De La Fuente. Little rush there from Richard Grunwald of Southlake, trying to push the action a little bit as Westlake just killing some clock. Under a minute to go. These fans can feel it now. Duncan. Oh, what a move, and a shot and a goal. There's a hattie for Braden Duncan. Just a little shoulder fake, and he buries that one into that corner. with 47 seconds to go. Westlake 12, Southlake 3, and the Chaps have dominated this fourth quarter of play. Inside the X, Andrew Pape will take on Luke Leffingwell. The wings for Southlake, Ben Heikla and Ben Kehoe. Jake Westcoat and Tucker Hamlin are the wings for Westlake. And we've got a timeout taken by Westlake. That is their first of the half. Southlake's already burned 2. 12-3, 47 seconds left in this one. We'll step aside for one final time. You're watching THSLL Super Regional Lacrosse, presented by Game On Sports. .47 ticks left in this one. 12-3, Westlake on top of Southlake. The Dragons will have it for one final push. As Olale brings it in, he's got it now inside of his net. Communicating back and forth with Dalton Daniel. Defended here using that speed to work his way around the left side. Doubles back. Finds a teammate there, Walker Southern. That's Parker Ruiz. Ruiz with a spin. Back behind the cage to Blake. And this pass from Blake just sails high, unable to grasp it was Dalton Daniel. And he's chasing inside. Good hustle play there for the Dragons. And this one's loose, time ticking away, and that's it. Westlake has advanced to the Final Four. 12-3, your final. Westlake over Southlake. What a performance from the Chaps. And the fans here letting their boys hear it. It'll be Westlake taking on Highland Park Saturday, May 11th at 4 o'clock in McKinney. What a game for the Chaps. 5 goals from Bryce Walker, 3 from Braden Duncan, another 3 from Cam Lynch. An outstanding job of goaltending from Justin Mays. The Fogos of Sam Wadsworth and Andrew Pape were fantastic. Defensively, they did what they've been doing all year long, allowing just 3 Southlake goals. They hadn't given up hardly more than 5 at all year long. And for the Dragons, a phenomenal season for Southlake. The first time they've made it to the Super Regional since 2014. But their season comes to an end today against what was, at least for this afternoon, the better team in Westlake. 12-3 your final. The Chaps advance to take on the Scots next week in the state semifinals. For my camera operator, Silviano Mancato, for our producer, Fred Garner, I'm Zach Wolchuk, saying so long from Georgetown.